This training video will go over the documentation submission instructions and requirements for the 21-22 Program Monitoring Random Validations process being conducted by the Federal Program Compliance Division at the Texas Education Agency. In preparation for documentation submission, the LEA should complete the submission packet cover page. The LEA should complete all the relevant sections of the cover page. For total number of pages to be submitted, this should include the submission packet as well. So if the cover page is page 1 of the submission packet, the checklist is page 2, and the documentation goes up to page 25, then the number to be included here is page 25. So it would read page 1 of 25. Please note that the campus information referenced below will only be requested for Title I Part A, since Title I Part A is the only random validation that will specifically be requesting documentation from the campus level. The document referenced here is the bottom part of the cover page. In this section, you'll be able to include any comments that you would like for TEA to see upon submission of your submission packet and documentation. The person responsible for submitting the documentation for the local education agency will need access to the TEA login system, also known as TEAL. Access to the ESSA Reports application will also be needed. The LEA will need to upload their documentation into the ESSA Reports application. If the person responsible for submitting the documentation does not have access to TEAL and/or ESSA Reports, they can contact their Regional Education Service Center for instructions on how to obtain such access. Upon completion of the LEA cover page, the second page of the submission packet is a checklist. The LEA will complete the sections where it has a county district number and LEA name, and the section under the column labeled page numbers. TEA will complete the compliance status and comments, and the section at the very bottom where it has the information of the reviewer at TEA. For the checklist in the left-hand column, the LEA is to write or include the page number where the requirement is addressed in the LEA's documentation. We ask that you be as specific as possible in order to facilitate the auditor's review process. For example, if relevant items appear on pages 2, 4, and 5, please list 2, 4, and 5 rather than pages 1 through 5. Please leave the two right-hand columns blank, as these will be completed by TEA staff during their review of the documentation submitted. Preparing documents for upload is a two-step process. Step 1 will require the LEA to complete and upload the submission packet in Word format as a response document. Step 2 requires that the LEA gather and assemble the documentation into one PDF file and upload the documentation PDF file as a supporting document. So an LEA will upload two specific documents, the submission packet in Word format and the documentation file in PDF format. We will now look at the uploading the submission packet response document specific instructions. So the LEA is to complete the document that consists of the cover page and the checklist in Word. Please do not convert the documents into PDF, and the document is to be uploaded as a Word document, which is the response document that the LEA is submitting first. The submission packet and documentation file will both be uploaded in the ESSA Reports application in TEAL or the TEA login. The person uploading the files will need to have access to a TEA login account, otherwise known as TEAL, and access to the ESSA Reports application in TEAL. To upload the submission packet, you will need to access the ESSA Reports application and locate the Upload Response Documents button towards the top of the screen. Click on the Upload Response Documents from the menu so that the menu items can appear. For response template title, you will select the name of the random validation item that you have been selected to submit documentation for. For school year, you will select 2021-2022. For the response doc type, you will select response document for your submission packet. You will then click on Choose File, and a browser window will open on your computer to access your computer files. You will locate and select the file that you would like to upload. And again, a reminder, if this is a submission packet and a response document, you would upload a Word document, which is a submission packet that includes the cover page and the checklist all in one file. You would see that the name of the file would appear. You would click on Upload Document, and the document would be uploaded. You could refresh your screen to verify that the document has been submitted to TEA for review. We will now take a look at some tips for uploading the supporting document, which is the documentation file, which will be a PDF file. We request that you use a checklist as a reference to put pieces of documentation in order. We ask that you submit single-sided documents only, that you check the orientation of pages, that you mark where on the page the evidence for each requirement appears, that you remove any unnecessary pages, and that you number the pages of documentation packet consecutively, and then enter the packet page numbers on the checklist. To facilitate the review process, when compiling and assembling your documentation, please orient pages consistently, either in portrait or in landscape, or a combination of both ways. Please do not include unnecessary pages. Some cautionary tips include: only include relevant pages of documents that are requested. All documentation submitted must be reviewed in its entirety. Should the review determine unanticipated areas of noncompliance, the LEA will be referred to the appropriate division for further review. So if you determine that you have a page that is unnecessary to submit, please remove that page. You also want to make sure that you are ordering the pages and numbering them consecutively in the lower right-hand corner. If you've removed a page or an unnecessary page, please be sure to change the page number at the bottom right-hand corner so that they are numbered consecutively. Please use the consecutive page numbers when providing the page number on the checklist. For example, if your documentation for item 1.1 can be found on pages 4 and 6, please note that under the page numbers column for item 1.1. Use the item number to mark the location on the page. For example, if your documentation for item 1.1 is found on pages 4 and 6, here you can see that for page 4 you would write 1.1 on the page where the documentation can be found for item 1.1. Each item number should be marked on the appropriate page as noted here. When it comes to the documentation, we have some file size limits. There is a 10 megabyte limit for the documentation file size. You may want to optimize your PDF file to reduce the size and ensure again that all pages are actually needed or required to be submitted. As a last resort, if you're not able to compile a file that is within the 10 megabyte limit, you can split the file and upload in sections as supporting document files. Please make a comment in the comment section of the cover page letting us know that you have uploaded multiple documentation files. Uploading documentation is similar to uploading the response document that included the submission packet, which was a cover page, and the checklist. However, this time we ask that you upload one documentation file in PDF format. To upload the documentation, you will need to access the ESSA Reports application and locate the Upload Response document button towards the top of the screen. You click on the button for the menu items to appear. For response template title, you will select the response template for the actual random validation program requirement that your LEA was selected for to submit documentation. You will select 2021-2022 for the school year. On response doc type, you will want to make sure that this says supporting document. Again, this is for your documentation file. You'll click on Choose File. A computer browser window will open so that you can search for the documentation file that you would like to upload. Once you've selected the file for upload, the name of the file should appear to the right of the Choose File button. As you can note here, that this is a PDF file, which is what we are requesting that you submit as a supporting document. You would then click on Upload Document, and the supporting document should be uploaded. You can refresh your screen to make sure and verify that the documentation has been uploaded for our review. This concludes the documentation submission instructions and requirements training video for the 21-22 Program Monitoring Random Validations process. If you have any questions, please email them to essaSupport@tea.texas.gov. Thank you.